Hello. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time. I appreciate it. Now, if you've been following me, you probably know I've been on the road for the last couple of weeks and I've been traveling abroad having a marvelous time. But in doing so, I got the icks. And so I'm a little not only jet lagged and behind. I know you guys don't care about this, but I also got the icks. But I'm committed to doing hopefully a value-added video every day. So thanks for giving me a little bit of your time and hopefully give me a little bit of your grace if I'm a little off today. But I wanted to cover the MBA's recent report on IMB profitability. And it is a little depressing, but it's interesting. And from it, we can create strategy. And so what the report said is that in Q4 of last year, on average, IMBs lost $40 per loan. They lost $40 per loan, and this is disappointing because we had in Q2 last year, in Q3, we had finally returned to profitability after 8 months of really bad losses, right? And so we thought we were coming out of the storm a little bit, getting a little bit of tailwind, had a little bit of profitability, and then whack. Nope, Q4, we lost money. And of course, we're going to lose a lot of money in Q1 this year, right? And so things are going to be a little bit of a rough road going forward. I'm going to show you the report, and I want to really just show you the most important part of the report. Here you see IMB's report production losses the fourth quarter of 2024. Go down to the chart. This chart is what's most important. This is profitability. It both shows average volume, but profitability. You can see these are pretty low times here. Q4 2022, where the industry on average lost 99 basis points per every loan they did. That's obviously not a sustainable business model. Losing 100 basis points for every widget you sell, not good, especially when they're expensive widgets. But you can see that we crawled back to after 8 quarters of losses, right? And this is, now, not every company lost money, but the industry on average, this is per loan losses, right? But in Q2 2024, we eked out a 17 basis points profit. And by the way, just to be clear, 17 basis points is not enough profit to keep a company in business. It doesn't even cover the risk, right? And if you think about it, if you didn't just think about it, you need to get somewhere in the neighborhood of a 20 basis points, 25 basis points profit, just to entice a stakeholder to put their money at risk versus putting it into the market and getting 5% on bonds, right? You could probably earn more money doing that than 17 basis points. And so if 17 basis points doesn't cover risk, it's not going to keep people interested. A healthy market, you need to be at least 30 basis points. And that's the conservative. Some people would say they're not going to play for a company for less than 70 basis points. But maybe if you're a giant company, you're not a wholesale mortgage, maybe they play for less than 30 basis points, but not over the long run. It's just not sustainable. And so 17, 18 basis points, while not great, was at least positive. But then whack, Q4 comes along and we lose 4 basis points per loan. Not good. And like I said, we're gonna lose more money, more than that in Q1. When you see the numbers, I'm guessing that number is going to probably be somewhere in the minus 15 basis points, something like that. So it's going to probably pick up a little speed. But here's some of the other things that were in the report that I want to share. So the total pre-tax net loss of $40 per loan, which is a contrast because that 18 basis points per loan in Q3 2024 represented a $700 profit per loan. And then not only what happened, volume was down, and the average production volume per company dropped, for the quarter about $2 million from the previous quarter, so not bad. But volume was down, expenses were up. The average expense per loan, I think, got up to $11,700 again. It had dipped down there earlier in the year last year into the $10,500. So it's expenses are going up per loan, and that just has to do with dividing expenses by units. And so expenses are up, volume was slightly down, and really. Now, in this, though, there's some interesting things that we're starting to see. And that is the larger companies are getting an advantage. The larger companies that can have scale, spread out expenses across more loans are able to actually have an advantage in profitability. And so even though on average the industry lost 4 basis points per loan or $40 per loan, 61% of the companies in the industry claimed that they had a profit. So 61% said they were profitable. Now, truth be told, Many of those companies, their profitability came from servicing, not from loan production, which is important to recognize. And in fact, last quarter was an okay quarter for servicing profit. On average, the servicing value for the quarter was $142 per loan. And that's good because the previous quarter, it was $25 loss per loan. Now, a lot of that has to do mark-to-market kind of accounting. I never really think those are fully cash losses or cash gains. But regardless, if you had servicing in the fourth quarter, that probably helped you maybe eke out a profit. And if you were a large platform, being able to have scale probably helped you eke out a profit. If you're a mid-size or small IMB, you probably were in choppy water. And if you were a mid-size or large IMB and you hadn't quite fully battened down the hatches, you probably had a couple challenges too. Now, the question is, what's the future look like? And here's the thing. A lot of people can sit here and go, hey, look, we're probably going to have this kind of go on through the rest of this year. I would argue this might be the new normal. This might be the environment we have to exist in. And that is an environment where the consumer demands more. They have super high expectations, and it's hard to get them to the table. It's hard to get them across the finish line. And there's all sorts of other participants that are willing to come into the market that have relationships with them that could disrupt how we do business. And then all those companies that we fear, those big, tech companies that we always wonder, is Amazon going to do mortgages, or is Apple, or whoever, Home Depot, wherever it happens to be, which I was listening to the other day. But whoever it might be, are they going to come in and disrupt by scale, just by massive scale, right? And so our consumer wants more. And what we're having to do in business, whether you're a loan officer or a company, it doesn't matter whether you're a broker or an IMB, you're having to invest in building more value props for the customer. You're having to invest in more technology, in better marketing, in better customer journeys, in better value propositions. You're making these huge investments at a time when revenue is shrinking and units are shrinking. So you're having to spread that investment over fewer units, which is really putting pressure on profitability. It's a challenge. That's why companies with scale, companies with size have an advantage, because it's a lot easier to, if you have to divide the cost of a widget, let's say you bought a banana boat and it's $1,000, you can divide that by 1 million loans versus divide it by 10 loans. Well, the people that have the scale have the advantage. So companies that have scale have an advantage. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter, like I said, whether you're in production, a loan officer, or you're a company. It's really simple. You got to just continue to manage expenses. Expenses are friction between us and the customer. And so every expense we have has to be used to either 100% perform for the customer or delight the customer. And so we got to really, really pay attention to that. And then second, we have to maximize our investments. We need to invest in things that the customer wants and demands. But when we make those investments, we need to make sure they pay off. And the number one you make sure investments pay off is that they're actually used. If it's a technology, all the employees, are they not only using it, but have they mastered it? Is it into their DNA? Is it just, it's overflowing onto the customer and it's generating a ton of income? If not, that investment is just an albatross around your neck, right? If you invest in the best CRM system in the world and nobody's using it, that's not good. That's not good at all. And so we have to make great investments, but they have to be adopted and they have to be optimized, right? And so we have managing expenses, we have making really wise investments that are fully adopted, and then we have scale. Those are the things that we can do. And that's how it's going to be. That's the new normal. That's how we have to thrive. So anyway, I appreciate you giving me some. I did a post on this today in LinkedIn a little earlier. I will say that this report, MBA report, lives behind a really thick and high firewall. They really hold on to this report. I haven't actually seen the report. I will see it, I think, sometime here this week. But so you may not be able to see it. You can get kind of the gist by going to their news release on this. They did put a lot of data on that. You can also check out my LinkedIn on this. I did put a link to the news report for it on my LinkedIn. I will put a link down below. It's going to be choppy waters, everybody, but that's just making us better. That's how you get grit. You don't get grit unless you feel the grind. And we're definitely still in the grind. Then with that, I appreciate you guys checking me out. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks so much. Have a great day.